Well, I saw this one kid walking from outside of a parking lot after a football game, and me and my friends decided to go punk him. And so we went up to him and I said, "Hey, you owe me money. Where's my money? It's $10.
I vandalized the locker with two of my other friends, and I wrote on the locker, "You're gay," and that was my mistake.
And we went in front of a house. There was a couple boxes. A couple friends said, "Hey, look, there's a couple boxes. Go take them."
He gave me money, and then later on, like maybe a week or two later, I started doing it again. Say, "Hey, it's 50 now, and you still owe me money. You know that you need to give it to me. Where are you at? You know, I need to see you. I need my money."
They called this a hate crime because the student didn't do anything to me. He didn't say anything to me, and I just vandalized his locker and wrote, "You're gay." And that wasn't something that, he didn't deserve that. He was just going to school because he wanted to learn.
The owners of the box had it all on video from surveillance cameras, and they turned it into the school. And then a couple of days later, the cop from the school called us in, and she asked us both questions, and she gave us juvenile referrals and said that we might have to be facing court.
They said, "Well, there's the penal code, educational code, and stuff like that. And he didn't want you to go through the penal code and go to juvenile hall, so we're just going to put you in this program, restorative justice."
The first part of the restorative process is what we call the intake. The intake is an opportunity for me to get to know that youth and the family a little bit and learn a little bit about what their story is. The goal is to ultimately determine whether or not that young person is willing to hold themselves accountable for their poor choice and take some responsibility to make things right.
We sit in a circle so no one's left out, and you don't have to talk, but it's kind of good because even if you listen, you still get a lot of knowledge and things from Chad and other people in the group.
They talk about like real stuff, like what it takes to have compassion towards someone, or what it takes to have empathy, and what the right and wrong things are to do and how to fix those things.
Basically what I was getting into was like a group of people who were like in gangs and all into like the hood stuff in life, you know, like how everyone portrays it. Like this is a bad group of kids and they need a good hard lesson, and that's not what it is at all, really.
Another very important element of the accountability circles are these necklaces. These necklaces are meant to symbolize a rites of passage or an initiation, if you will.
The white beads, the first ones you get, they mean wisdom, and that's basically what you come into the group with. And then the yellow beads you get after, like right before you go into your conference, and that's for courage, to have like courage to go tell the truth in the conference.
A lot of people, you know, just because we're kids, you know, they're like, look, listen to us, we're the adults, but Chad really gives advice to us. And I feel like we actually sometimes give advice to him back, you know, about our lives and everything.
Yeah, we talk about like real stuff, like, you know, he lets us like straight bring out everything, you know, all our emotions towards him, and he's there to understand us.
The accountability circles are not just for us to sit in circle and have really powerful, deep conversations. They're also meant to prepare these young folks for what we call a restorative conference.
At the Restorative Conference, the youth sits down in a face-to-face meeting that lasts for about 2 hours. And they're meeting with all the people that they've impacted. And those people are the victims and the community members, and school teachers, principals, law enforcement, and families. So everyone at that conference gets a chance to speak and be heard and to share how they've been impacted by the incident of wrongdoing. And importantly, the victim gets a chance to tell their story, to tell the story of how their life has been affected. And this chance to tell their story can be quite important for the victim's healing. And it's in this face-to-face dialogue at this restorative conference that the youth gets to really understand the full and deeper impact of how his actions have affected others.
My first one was at the school, and I had my principal, my vice principal, my sister, and the victim. And how it goes is you're in a circle, and they tell how they got affected, and then you try to repeat it back as best as you can, for they know that you're listening. And so then after that, the victim comes in, he talks a little bit how it affects his family and how you can set up a goal to help him. Like how I stole his credit card, I had to pay him back. And I know that hurt his family because he was a teacher, and it was just stress on top of stress on top of stress.
And he was really hurt. He was scared to even go to school. He felt trapped, is what he said. He said he felt trapped, and that made me feel disgusted with my actions even afterward.
The offender has to own the wrongdoing. The community and the victim show up and present with what's present for them because of the wrongdoing. And then we try to find our way to make it right.
Before I went into it, I felt like really nervous. I felt like they were gonna ask a lot of questions, and I just didn't know I felt like I was gonna freeze and like not know what to say. But then once I had my conference, it was really good. I felt like I was able to be honest about everything, and I felt like I got to speak the truth.
It's not just learning about our mistakes and like who it affects and everything. It's learning about like how to feel towards someone and how to understand it and like in their views, and you kind of get a different idea of a situation on like from a different angle.
When we get to the face-to-face and when the kid gets to hear how what he did impacted someone who's volunteering their time to be there is very powerful. And I would say 99% of the time the kids go inward and they're able to reflect back and go, wow, I didn't realize.
I didn't know it would be like volunteers from the community that would be coming in and taking their time and just kind of like telling me how their life was and how like they've been through struggles and they've came through it and they've made mistakes too. That was really reassuring to have that person next to you.
In this way we promote that this healing is as a process that will comprise the society and put it together again.
It's more of I would say a weaving back together of what's been severed or wasn't even there to begin with. It's beginning to connect the hearts and the people that are involved, and that includes community.
Before I went to the conference, I always saw people walking down the streets as strangers, but now after that conference, they informed me that I'm also part of the community, so now every time I walk down the street, I see somebody walking down the street and I see them as a community member now.
I learned that I'm better than what I was doing, and that, instead of doing that and like destroying property and stuff, I could be helping people.
So my hope for these youth that have completed this Accountability Circle program is that they are now fully aware of their inherent value and that they're able to take the wisdom that they've gained through this process and head out and share it with the community. I see them as kind of making a transition from me, being all about me, to being about we. And that's what the world needs more of.
Not only are you learning like how to fix things, but you're also learning how to not do things from other people's perspectives, so you don't have to go down that road.
I think I have more thoughts of better thoughts of what I could do.
I just learned what really took place that day.
Speak your mind, because the circles, if you just sit there, you're gonna get just a tiny bit of it. But if you speak your mind and you gotta say what you gotta say, no one's gonna be like, laugh at you because, oh, you brought weed to school and you got caught. No one's gonna be like, you're dumb. Just speak your mind.
I commend the youth graduates who have completed this restorative process. It takes an extraordinary human being to hold themselves accountable and responsible. That's what we call integrity. So be proud of yourselves, and now go back out into your communities and be those role models of leadership that you are, and preserve that integrity.
It's better than the justice system, because staying in juvie, I wouldn't learn anything. That would end up making me harder, and people would treat me more like a criminal. And right here, I feel good. I feel like I'm respected. I feel like they know, you gain a lot of knowledge here.
If my parents come to my graduation and I get to graduate, I think they'd be proud of me because I haven't accomplished a lot of things.
They lost all trust in me because of all the trouble I was getting into. And now throughout the process they saw a big change, and I think if they do go to the graduation and they see me there, then they're gonna be really proud, I could tell. I have a real big feeling that they're gonna be really proud of all the change I've made.
Even after the conference, my dad hugged me and said, you know, what you did was really courageous. I'm glad you really did that and opened up and really shared. And yeah, I think they'll be fully supportive and be like, yeah, my son actually did it.